Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode we discovered that we were at war with Ukraine, and that's very awkward for us because we were not in position. We're moving now, but I just noticed this up here, which we are not covering, and then there's this up here, but that's part of Golden Horde. So that's not actually a problem. This is. So we need to direct one of our armies out over here, and my question is, what all armies are assigned over here at this moment? So I want armies assigned to this. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so I think what we need to do at this moment is we need to grab... I see that Army 3 is definitely over here. Army 2 is heading down that way. Okay, so I'm going to send some forces from Army 3, only about 4 units up over here. They just need to get up there and hold that line. Now this front might join up before we end up getting there. That's fine if that's the case. We're going to need to just delete this. This is irrelevant now. We've got bigger problems. This out over here, though, we want to be pressing the attack on if we can. So we're going to work on that, but we were definitely not planning to have a large war here. Now, they've called in Ukrainian Congo. This is not shocking. We've got forces on the way over here, but this is quite a bulge, and I don't love that. I'm going to grab this army and tell them to offensive line down to, like, here. And hopefully that will solve that problem. So we're getting into position to stop their push, but we're not there yet. Okay, this just ended up being part of this front. So we need this to be in Army Group 1, and we need to extend these army groups at this moment to be out over here, like that. Then we need to grab this army group and extend that front line to be out over here. Okay. Now, apparently we've forgotten that we were pushing out over this direction. Do we have any tanks headed down here? We do. Okay. So I think it's these guys only that are up over here. And their goal is to just offensive line up like this for now. Okay. Go ahead and get started on that. So they've called Anatoklion. That's these guys out over here. That's noted. We're going to lose this territory out here. That's fine. There's nothing we can do about that right now. We'll get back to that later. We were caught off guard, and that's fair enough. So we're currently busily pushing in, and I want to make sure that our Army Group 1 is also aggressively attacking over here. I want their offensive line to be right out over here and get that cleaned up. Get over there. So our infantry are going to start pushing in as well. So that seems fine for now. And down this direction, we are getting some progress, it seems. Okay. So the main concern at this moment is that we need this war to wrap up fast. We're getting no progress down over here. This is due to a lack of steel and tungsten. So I'm assuming that our trade is being interdicted at this moment. Or that we just need more of it. Something kind of like that would be better. Just import all of it. Everything we can do. So that puts us at -1. And then we need to get as much tungsten as possible as well. Okay. There we go. So that gets our factories, in theory, back online. We need to back off a little bit on this, but having a little extra steel is okay. So that seems fine for right now. Our troops are getting to these lines. The real question is, how much progress are we going to make here? If we can wrap up one of these fronts, whether it be in Africa or... Ukrainian East Africa has quite a bit of territory down here in Madagascar. That's going to make things a little awkward for us. And then there's Ukrainian Senegal here, but there's nothing that can happen with Ukrainian Senegal. So this is all impassable. They don't have anything here, and they can't do anything. And we can't get here to defend this anyway. So that's all irrelevant. We don't need to worry about that. So out over this direction, we are actually starting to push in on the Ukrainians, and this does not seem bad at this moment. We've got this fairly under control, I think, and we should be in a good spot to push in. But more recruitment is clearly necessary, and we also can get more research done. So what more research do we want to get done? Well, we should probably be working on getting all of these passive upgrades done as quickly as we can. For sure. Now, I want to grab this army here and tell them that they are going to offensive line somewhere around... Well, there's a break in the lines right here, right? So somewhere around... Honestly, let's pull this back and have it be about like that for the moment. They can start working on that. And then these guys out over here, their goal is going to be to offensive line out over here like this. And fill in like that. Okay. Now, we've got our tank unit down here. And their goal is to offensive line very aggressively all the way down to this coast. Get in there. I want to get the Ukrainians kicked out of the African continent as soon as possible. So we're going to do that, and this attack up over here is a little spicier. How are our logistics up here? We could definitely work on some logistics out in this area. So we can absolutely get some of this going. That seems relatively fine. We are also going to want to start going on some additional upgrades for our trains out over this way, for sure. I want to have a train connection from here directly out over here, all the way at level 5. And then this is going to be level 5 out this way as well. So we'll get some of that going. That'll get our logistics in a better state out over here. I do want to get this hub upgraded, or rather motorized, and this hub motorized. There we go. So we'll see how this front ends up going. Lebanon has capitulated, and I think our main issue over here is we're just stretched pretty thinly. But overall, it seems to be going okay. Now, Ukraine is going to send more forces over here. We could deploy these forces, but for the moment, I'm not going to do that. Keep in mind, we're still in a situation here where we need a lot of tanks and we need a lot of mechanized equipment. We were not planning on this being a thing at this moment. So I want these guys to come in over here and wrap this up. What are you guys doing? They're just chilling here. A whole lot of nothing. I want them to come up and reinforce Army Group 1 up over here. It's going to take them a while to get there. That's understood. So we're going to get them up there. That looks great. And we do want these forces that are over here to just get in here, stack wipe this unit, get it out of there. There we go. So that looks good. And we are making progress in Africa. Now, up over this direction, things are a lot spicier. And that's not necessarily surprising. How are these guys doing on their trek, their journey? It's taking them a little bit. Okay, so that's understood. At this moment, we need to grab, how about advanced equipment conversion? That's fine. We'll get that underway. So these guys down over here, they're still pushing in for the moment, and that seems relatively fine. So things are going okay in Africa. Things are going much less okay in the Mideast at this moment, although it's fine-ish. Fine-ish. As long as we can effectively hold here, we'll be okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cancel all of these constructions of land forts here. We're going to get those done, and then we're going to start working on a new line of land forts. That's going to be everything here to give us a much higher advantage on this front. But we're also going to want to get all of these done ASAP. So this Trucial Coast is not all that important at this moment, but I do want to get these done before the land forts. So we'll do something like that, and we'll just start constructing some of these land forts. We do have these infantry making their way in now. So the infantry are arriving, but we clearly need more of them. Okay. So we have forces still coming in here, but I want to make sure that we do have land forts starting to come in to stabilize this front. Yes, we do. Okay, so that will give us a good position to strike from eventually. And we do have some infantry starting to come through here, so it looks like this front is probably stabilizing. So that looks good. These guys are still on their way up, so that seems absolutely fine. Okay, now down this direction, we're still making our way in over here. This logistics hub is going to need to be motorized, as will this one and this one. But these are not currently connected to our capital. So that is a significant problem, and I want to immediately begin construction of a new rail line like that. We're also going to want to upgrade this rail line like so, and that will be fine. So we'll get all of that underway. That'll get us some supplies coming in down over here, which is definitely a bit of a tough region for us. Okay, so this front is stabilizing. That's looking good. And they're going to have a really hard time pushing past this line that we're creating. But we're going to be pushing them as well. So we're going to push out this direction in theory, and that'll be okay. I was definitely not planning on fighting Ukraine yet. That's for sure. Okay, so this hub here is going to be a very, very important hub for us, and I want to make sure that we've got a decent connection out here as well. And I also want to start working on some land forts down through here. So we want to have a good, strong position here as well, right? So we're going to get all of these going, and these are actually pre-built. Okay, that's noted. And we'll just get that underway. Okay, so that's fine. We'll have to work our way through this for a while, and that's understood. I'm going to cancel construction of these anti-air guns. For the moment, I don't believe that anti-air is a significant problem. And the rest of this is fine. Okay. So with the front stabilizing here, we just need to give it a moment. These guys should be on standard attack, and they are, so that seems good. Okay, we have this armored division, which should be moved down here. So that sounds great for now. Where are these guys? They're up over here? Okay, sure. So this is fine for right now. We'll need to get that cleaned up. Our major concern at this moment is Africa. We really need to get Africa under control. So to that end, getting these supply hubs online is going to be absolutely vital. No doubt about that. So we can see there's quite a lot of rail still being built here. That's okay. And these defensive structures are being built, but it's going to take some time. Forces are still moving over here, and that looks okay. We're currently... Why do we have no one here? Any particular reason? I don't know. That's awkward, though. So we do see that they do have some air superiority, which isn't necessarily shocking, but I do want to get more land forts queued up out over this direction. Hopefully, we aren't going to keep having these issues where they just leave areas abandoned. That would be the dream, anyway. We're looking to get these fronts stabilized. That's what we want to see. And what we really want to see is this down here going away and this front eventually going away. That's the ultimate goal here. That's what we really, really want. And actually, this is looking very solid. These guys just left, but we can go grab that quick. If we can punch this direction, that's potentially very significant. We can't, though. So that's understood. Not yet, anyway. So how's supplies looking out over this way? Well, we definitely need to get supplies down here. So building this bit of rail up here would be very, very beneficial for us. We'll get that underway. There's a logistics hub right here, so we definitely want to get that motorized up, and that'll be absolutely perfect for us. So at this moment, this is looking very good. This is now broken out into 2 fronts. So that seems fantastic. Now we've got this division here, and that division is going to go to this army. But as you can see, we've solidified our front out over this direction pretty thoroughly, and we could even build in some additional defenses right here to avoid being pushed back. But they're also digging in on this front. So this front is starting to become a bit of a problem for us, and that's understood. For the time being, I don't actually care about this front as long as it's solidified. It's this front that we want to progress on. And we are indeed being successful on that. If we can successfully attack here, that's actually a very big deal. I'm going to launch an attack here and see what happens. Okay. Noted. So that's fine for now. And I'm just thinking right now about the logistics of this area. And I'm thinking I want to modify this order. This order was very ambitious, and at this point I want it gone, and I want to change our offensive line to simply be like this. That is a terrible way to do this. Hang on. We have tanks over here. This is all Army 8. So these guys should get assigned here. We have 3 divisions from Army 9 over here. I see. I'm going to have this come up over here and reinforce this, I think. So they're going to make their way up here, and that means that we're not going to have a division here, and we're not going to have a division here, like this, right? So this is 24 divisions here. This really should be like an army group, but for the time being, that's fine, and we're going to need to have a few units out over this way, but I want these guys to change their offensive line here should be fine. I'm going to have just this singular unit holding here. Okay, so something along the lines of this. We're going to start trying to punch in here. If we can cut these guys off, this would be huge. Now, up over this direction, again, we're pretty dug in up over here now. Well, not necessarily down this direction. We've got a lot more work to do, but we're making progress on being dug in over here. Yeah, enemy raids are happening. That's understood. I'm going to send this guy up over here. That'll be fine. And he'll just go up to help stabilize this front. So that seems okay for the moment. We are winning in Africa as of right now. So that sounds good. And we don't have anyone here right now, but they're on their way over. So that sounds fine for the moment. Our tanks here, I'd really like it if they were doing things. They're not right now. They're positioning oddly. Oh, it's because all of the tanks, this changed. This front line is supposed to be like this. And then I want to grab the infantry here, and their goal is to offensive line... Oh, that's really awkward. Okay. Offensive line, something kind of like that. Okay. So that'll be fine. We'll push this back. And the idea here is that we want to loop around over here and cut off their ports over here. Then we can push north. I don't know if East Africa is in this war. They're not. So that's good to know. I believe Kenya is. Yes. Kenya is in the war. So that's fine. That's absolutely understood at this moment. So yeah, we're busily digging in over here. We've got a lot of work to do yet on that dig in, but for the moment, it seems relatively fine. I'd like to get this taken back over, but this force is stretched pretty thin. They are mostly supposed to be defending, so I'm going to tell them, just forget about these offensive operations. They don't matter. Just dig in and hold the line. We're pushing down here for now. So that looks okay. How is our logistics doing over here? Well, this can actually be bumped up in its connection. And our logistics are pretty okay down here for now. We're just slowly pushing our way in here. And actually, this looks like a pretty decent engagement here. Okay. We're definitely having some air situations, right? We've got good anti-air coverage up over here. It's not necessarily so good down this way. For the moment, I'm not concerned about that. We need to work on our land forts for the moment and have this front be more dug in. We're pushing back the Ukrainians over this way right now, which seems good. They actually are pretty low on their organization in a lot of these places. This is broken off into two fronts now, over here. Fascinating. Okay, that's fine for the moment. I'm not too concerned about pushing on that front for right now, but that is very interesting. No doubt about that. Down over this way, I believe we just took this position. Ukraine decoded our ciphers, which reminds me, we need to keep working on this. There we go. And how are we doing on our production? 3634 and 6390. Okay, we're a little low on our steel and tungsten at this moment, and this is, of course, because of convoy interdiction. That's not very surprising. We're getting decent amounts of supplies, though, so I think for the moment that's not that concerning, and we're making gains. So I think for the moment it's fine. We need to be working on quite a lot more of this stuff. It looks like we are almost constructing all of these on this side at this moment. So that's very, very good. So our dig in over here is going well, and it's going to be very tough for them to continue to push over this direction. For the moment, I'm not that concerned about pushing over here. So this situation here is mildly awkward, to be sure. We definitely do want to start our dig-in over here, and it's going to need all of that, awkwardly enough. And something like this as well, but otherwise this seems fine. I'm not going to do dig-in down over here, and in fact, I'm going to cancel some of our pending constructions over on this side. Okay, that should be fine. So we're pushing in over this way, but it's slow going, which isn't surprising, right? This is Africa, after all. It's going to take some time. So I'm wondering where our weak point is here. We're definitely... it's this connection here. So this needs to go up to level 5, and then this needs to connect directly in up over here. It's because we lost this position. Gotcha. So that's rough for us, for sure. We need to get more troops over on this defense, but for the time being, this is relatively fine. I want to keep pushing down this way for right now, but more troops here would be very, very good. Okay, so we're slowly making some progress over here. I feel like things are going moderately, is how I'll put this. Yeah, things are going moderately. We really need more troops on this front. So that's understood. We could deploy additional forces here and then make this into a new army group, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. I'm thinking about it for now, but as of right now, we are pushing in over this way. This is a really good push, actually. These guys are going to be cut off. That's a big deal. No one is moving in here. Why are you not moving in here? Get in here. We take this victory point. And that cuts these guys entirely off from supply. So now, all of these forces engage here. And we stack right now. Then we can redeploy these forces down south. Beautiful. That's huge. So with that having happened, checking in up over here, everything seems okay for now. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see about continuing our push down this direction. Using these lakes as cover is, I think, going to be the plan. I'd like to get up to here and have a choke point here. But for the time being, this looks good. So we're going to be moving in over this direction eventually. Yeah, that's fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.